There's mention of shocking gossip about dragon meat at a restaurant and an injured high-ranking judge. This is clarified as being part of a competition to find ridiculous gossip articles, revealing that Fontaine has third-rate newspapers that use shocking headlines to increase sales. The discussion continues about the gossip articles, with someone suggesting they contain about 1% facts. There's explanation that even imaginative stories have some basis in reality. A honeydew incident is mentioned, clarifying that no dragon was actually damaged, and Lord Nubalet's absence from the judge's seat was because he had delegated the case to other judges from the beginning. The conversation shifts to why Kenichi is in Fontaine, with someone suggesting he do special coverage for the Steenbird newspaper. Kenichi declines, saying he's not good at talking and suggesting the travelers might be more suitable. Charlotte needs time to prepare questions for later discussion. After someone leaves to report to the police station about the escalating gossip article, the conversation turns to Ajaw, who's described as being quieter than usual. It's revealed that Ajaw is hiding because of a strange law prohibiting flying objects during the first 3 days of arrival in Fontaine. A workaround is suggested that as long as Kenichi holds Ajaw's tail, it's considered a balloon dragon rather than a flying dragon. There's mention of an event dedicated to AA outside the city that they plan to attend in the coming days. The group arrives at an impressive venue that was built overnight, showing the efficiency of Fontaine's workers. The venue is revealed to be AA Land, a theme park concept made for AA fans featuring clever machinery and inventions. Introductions are made to Navia, the president of Fontaine Spinary Lothra, who helped set up the event venue. Ajaw introduces himself as the Great Blue Dragon, leading to some teasing about his exaggerated title. Navia is thanked for helping establish the event venue overnight. The event is explained as Cheval Moran AA Land, a club-like gathering held under the guidance and technical support of Repine Pauline. It's revealed that after much effort, permission was granted to use Cheval Moran's image for the event, aiming to increase her popularity while welcoming AA fans. The conversation turns to food at the event, with assurances that there will be plenty for both exhibitors and participants. A famous chef from a themed restaurant, Escoffier, is introduced. The scene shifts to someone being scolded about food quantities, with a humorous threat about being on the cutting board next time. The conversation takes an unexpected turn when someone mentions a customer who might return with a gun. This leads to discussion about a strange box found by cleaning staff at the venue. The box had a security number key and didn't appear to be made in Fontaine, possibly hidden deliberately. It was turned over to authorities in Palomino. A mysterious box contained a gun, which sparked curiosity about its nature. The person from Nata showed interest in weapons, suggesting they were tired of previously made toys. This comment upset someone who felt their creations were being dismissed. When asked to describe the gun, they explained it didn't look like a conventional firearm and drew a picture to illustrate its unusual appearance. The drawn weapon appeared to be an antique excavated from ancient ruins, more accurately described as a hand cannon than a gun. This discovery connected to an investigation of the Mitsuyu incident, prompting a plan to visit Palomino for further research. Someone offered assistance and suggested leaving immediately, promising to wait while goodbyes were said to friends. The scene shifted to the Shubalmaran AA Land, where travelers were welcome to join the family. Despite budget constraints, the focus remained on quality. The AA Land was still under construction, described as a macaron without sugar. Management explained their strategy involved scheduling specific tasks over certain periods to maximize limited resources and staff. The management approach resembled a board game or card game, requiring strategic decision-making. Safety was emphasized for all attractions, which had been thoroughly checked to prevent accidents. Visitors were invited to be the first to experience the attractions and provide feedback to improve the experience for future guests. After trying the attractions, visitors showed increased interest in the original AA story. This pleased the fans who created the experience. Many enthusiasts invested their own money to create publicity materials and merchandise featuring popular characters like Mrs. Schwalmeren, with 60% of proceeds supporting Frina. Managing Schwalmeren AA land required cleaning the area, building attractions, and hiring appropriate staff based on their talents and strengths. The official opening marked the beginning of a long-term management project, with the first season's report showing promising results despite room for improvement. A famous chef named Escoffier was brought in to enhance AA land's popularity. The waterside dining environment created a special atmosphere that complemented the AA theme. Escoffier, formerly of Hotel du Val, was tasked with creating theme menus to attract more customers. Escoffier prepared a spare rib roast with improved seasoning and mint extract, designed to be refreshing after playing. The dish was actually intended for staff rather than customers, as it would help workers recover from fatigue and boost morale. Previous experience had shown that providing quality food to workers significantly improved efficiency and energy levels. The staff at Schwalmeren AA land are energized by a theme menu featuring Escoffier. The restaurant is praised for its connection to customers, similar to establishments along the Sandor River. Unlike the closed kitchen of Hotel du Val, this place allows staff to witness customers' surprised reactions to the food. The club has established a point system to evaluate service quality. Meeting these goals leads to satisfaction and increased earnings. As facilities grow larger, goals become more challenging, requiring either hiring better staff or reducing training investments. Management at Schwalmeren AA land involves breaking complex tasks into manageable pieces, making them achievable regardless of natural talent. This approach fosters growth and motivation among staff members. A chance encounter occurs in Fontaine, where Kenichi has traveled regarding the Mitsuyu incident. Information about his foreign travels has spread quickly. The travelers Aether and Paimon meet unexpectedly. The visitors are in Fontaine to deliver vegetables to Schwalmeren restaurant. Aether, who is 5 years old, is making their first trip away from Nada, accompanied by others concerned about their well-being. Kakuku, who is missing from the group, is in trouble due to the law of flying objects. Kakuku has been muted until the following day after talking excessively. The dragon has fled into the tallest building while being pursued by police. The group decides to enter the building to find Kakuku. They agree that if Kakuku doesn't cooperate, they can ignore the dragon's complaints as they authorize this approach. Ominous sounds are heard coming from Nubilit's office, causing concern among the group. They debate whether to investigate the source of the disturbance. Inside, they meet Mr. Rio Cesari, who oversees Malapile Fortress, Fontaine's prison. The conversation reveals a connection to the Mitsuyu case trial. Kenichi identifies a missing suspect related to a gun that crossed into Fontaine. Rio Cesari thanks Kenichi for the information and promises to have Malhas Phantom investigate the case. Kenichi offers to assist with the investigation during his extended stay in Fontaine. Regarding Lepine Pauline, they must determine whether it qualifies as a flying object according to regulations. A confidentiality agreement must be signed, though preparing the documents will take time. The group learns that Kakuku must remain at Paramelmonia temporarily to sign confidentiality documents after exposure to classified information. Though concerned, they're assured that Kakuku is safe and well treated. While waiting for Kakuku's return, which should coincide with the end of the flight ban, the group plans to go sightseeing. They're staying at Hotel Duval and can be reached there if needed. Progress is reported regarding education efforts. Not only has Kakuku learned to communicate from Rio Susuri, but prisoners have also received education. After receiving this assistance, the prisoners have begun to recall important information. A suspicious incident occurred when Mitsuyu and companions, disguised as merchants, were preparing to leave Nada by boat. A middle-aged man approached them, aware they were carrying a box containing a gun. Despite their attempt to blend in with other tourists, the man instructed them to transport certain goods to Fontaine. The individuals discussed the potential value of their rare items, especially with Nada's export business restrictions being lifted. Their appearance raised suspicions as they didn't resemble typical merchants, with scarred faces, worn clothing, and dirty nails, suggesting they might be warriors or adventurers posing as merchants. The suspicious individuals discussed their transportation choice, noting that large cargo ships were slow, while small boats were fast but unstable. They were being extremely careful with their cargo, suggesting it contained something valuable from Nada. Someone decided to investigate further. Despite concerns about potential issues during transport, one member reassured the others by pointing out how many foreigners travel to Fontaine with luggage. They had documentation with an address that would satisfy Fontaine authorities if their luggage was inspected. After gathering information about their personalities and items, someone alerted the port police. It was determined that the person who took and lost the gun was acting independently of Mitsuyu and the others. With limited information available, the investigation shifted to focus on the lost item itself, identified as a valuable relic from Nada's ancient civilization. The circumstances suggested the treasure wasn't accidentally dropped, but deliberately left behind, possibly as a decoy to catch someone. This resembled ransom scenarios where culprits instruct victims' families to leave valuables at designated locations. The situation appeared more like an interrupted transaction than a kidnapping. The theory emerged that the seller used a locked box to conceal their identity. The deal was likely interrupted when Lapine Pauline unexpectedly collected the luggage while setting up an event venue. The transaction failed because no one anticipated a deserted beach would suddenly become an event location with tourists and Spinalos present. To confirm their theories, they decided to post a notice about the lost item, hoping the suspect would come forward to claim it. This approach would either draw out the suspect or provide new clues while maintaining normal procedures. Someone volunteered to create the notice documentation. Good news arrived that someone was no longer classified as a flying object and could now move freely throughout Fontaine. The conversation shifted to pets and real estate, with mention that citizens with honorary titles receive payment when purchasing property in Fontaine. Kakuku was freed, leading to a reunion with the traveler, Paimon, and Kenichi. Some tension and playful banter ensued between characters, with mentions of eating together later. The same process that freed Kakuku could potentially allow Ajaw to act freely as well. The group decided to settle something through rock, paper, scissors, which one character insisted was not merely a game of chance, but a way to take control of one's fate. The outcome would determine whether certain characters would continue seeing each other. A new situation developed involving what appeared to be a special force. Aura Run arrived looking to retrieve something they had dropped. There was confusion about identities and proper manners when entering the room. Auroran explained they were there to collect a lost item, which turned out to be connected to a friend. After losing at rock, paper, scissors that morning, they had gone sightseeing in Fontaine when a man approached them near the square, claiming their lost item had been delivered to Palais Melmonia. The full story revealed that a gentleman who claimed to be a former employee of Palais Melmonia had asked Auroran to retrieve the lost item for him as he felt awkward meeting former colleagues. This raised suspicions that Auroran might have been deceived by someone in disguise who would abandon them if the mission failed. A plan is formed where the famous individuals, Traveler, Kenichi, and Nubalet, should remain behind while giving an empty box to Auroran as a decoy. Someone less recognizable will accompany Auroran to observe if anyone is watching them, as this seems like a good strategy. No suspicious persons are detected nearby as Auroran boards the lift as planned. The group heads to the square in Paramermonium but finds no suspicious individuals there either, making them question if they overthought the situation. An altercation occurs with someone complaining about Otaku's pet, though the owner clarifies it's actually a colleague. Kakuku, who appears to be causing trouble, is asked to stop as they have questions for someone. Meanwhile, Auroran is observed to be acting more reasonably than expected. The plan proceeds better than anticipated, but complications arise when someone refuses to hand over an item despite receiving it. The item is apparently related to someone's life, creating tension as they negotiate what could be offered in exchange. A person identifying as Paramelmonia's staff intervenes, wanting to ask questions about the life-related treasure. They pressure the individual, who becomes nervous, thinking they're in trouble for doubting Paramelmonia's authority in protecting Fontaine's citizens. The individual explains they're an antique collector who doesn't care about item origins if purchasable with Mora. They conducted business through the Sanryu newspaper's collection column without seeing the seller's face. During a recent transaction, complications arose when the seller requested help retrieving something from Paramermonia. The collector, named Argento, apologizes for underestimating others. He explains the seller went to Paramermonia to obtain goods, but Argento knows little about the seller, despite the seller knowing him well. This raises concerns about potential fraud. Argento is informed he's a suspect in illegal cultural property transactions that could lead to the Epiclesis Theater. To make amends, he must continue the transaction as usual, but share details with authorities beforehand to help catch the seller. The operation concludes for the day. The plan is to wait for Argento to contact the seller before deciding next steps. There's concern the culprit might escape rather than proceed with the transaction, though recovering the goods is already a partial success. Progress is made as Argento provides details about the upcoming transaction. The meeting is scheduled for that afternoon at a restaurant in EA Land. Concerns arise about the crowded location, making it difficult to apprehend the suspect. Preparations include deploying Maelshos Phantoms and Special Forces. Captain Shubruz will join the operation, and Spina de Lasra offers support. The only concern is potential damage to Escoffier's shop during the operation. Despite suggesting the travelers leave the rest to Fontaine authorities, they insist on staying involved as witnesses, especially since the culprit appears to be from Nada. The operation is set to begin in the afternoon, with hopes of success. The beach has become lively in just a few days. The travelers express hunger and decide to head to the restaurant to look at the menu while waiting for the operation to begin. A tense situation unfolds with warnings not to drink or move. Someone named Arthur appears to be in danger. There's mention of a surprise show happening, followed by urgent calls to chase someone. The scene involves an illegal pirate ship and the Great Blue Dragon, with warnings not to fly over it or look down on it. A confrontation occurs after someone is roughly pulled away. The person complains about being manhandled, threatening legal action. The other party justifies their actions as protecting the person's dignity. The confrontation reveals a person who admits wrongdoing but claims they needed money because their son was addicted to gambling, causing financial ruin and blackmail. Someone named Kenichi remains quiet during the confession. The other person is revealed to be a gambler themselves, not just a concerned parent. They're identified as a Nata-jin, special person, who has been lying. The conversation suggests this person has no real family or friends and has been living dishonestly for a long time. The suspect is apprehended with thanks for cooperation. A sacred dragon named Kakuku is mentioned as having put on a wonderful show. The scene transitions to a more personal conversation where someone expresses their hatred for gamblers, calling them irresponsible people who don't respect honest work. A personal story emerges about how gambling affected someone's father in the past. The speaker doesn't want sympathy, believing their current success comes from making right choices. They prefer focusing on positive growth moments rather than dwelling on others' mistakes. The scene changes as characters return to their group. Someone named Shubruz has taken a criminal into custody. Another character plans to report to Paramelmonia and investigate the gambling industry. Someone has taken photos for an article that could make them famous. A new character appears who is involved in a branding business for a fruit garden. They're selling fruits at an event after delivering to restaurants. The character explains their business model of self-service fruit sales, where customers honestly pay without supervision. The fruit seller plans to shop in town before officially opening their business. They mention buying Fontaine's clockwork machinery for Coach Iansa, who wants to improve training equipment. The machinery will connect ropes and barbell plates for various exercises like lumbar training, pec fly, and leg press. The characters decide to visit one last location together. They discuss the importance of staying nourished while busy. Someone mentions always carrying supplies when going out. They've enjoyed getting high scores and seeing homages to famous scenes reproduced with something called pantule. The fruit seller offers their wares to choose from. An important friend appears, referred to as the director. There's mention of someone's brother who studied the director's style and watched all their works. The director is revealed to be a famous psycho-horror actor whose scenes kept the brother awake for 3 days. The conversation begins with observations about someone who enjoys magic shows and relates to an eternal character. There seems to be a connection between psychological guidance in magic and a director's work. A brother remains at an inn on a film set, possibly studying the eternal concept, while the speaker ventured out alone. The speaker discovers an unknown side of Ryan, who prefers watching pleasant content rather than scary scenes. Ryan enjoys beautiful visuals and straightforward stories that don't require deep thinking. This aligns perfectly with colorful adventures and Renetta's hobbies, prompting an invitation to visit an attraction together. There's a suggestion that watching others play might be more interesting than playing alone. The group discusses visiting an attraction today, noting there are only a few days until the eternal shooting begins. The speaker wants to cheer up their brother and mentions a relaxing garden attraction where they can relax while avoiding horror themes. The conversation turns to magic involving animal assistance, with some suggesting this could increase the popularity of Shubalmaran land. The speaker returns home to tell their brother about the interesting experiences at Shubalmaran land, especially the animals, encouraging him to explore beyond horror movies. The brother responds that his priority is getting in shape and completing the magic shooting safely, deciding to postpone the animal assistant idea. He's struggling to sleep as trick scenes keep coming to mind when he closes his eyes, leaving him in a state where he's too tired to get up, but unable to rest. The conversation shifts to travelers and Paimon, who are managing an attraction at AA Land. The brother decides to join them to support his friends, emphasizing that travelers are his highest priority. They agree to meet directly at the venue rather than waiting for the brother to return home. At AA Land, someone thanks travelers and Paimon for their invitation, noting how playing with cute animals helps them relax. Renette appears to have found her favorite assistant, with someone named Furamine having good rapport with these animals. A character named Risu's father approves of this arrangement. The group notices unusual mushrooms that turn out to be specially trained for performances, described as action actors in phantom life form. Someone decides to wait for a cat instead, wondering about exceptionally large, fluffy cats, comparable to mushrooms in size. The relaxing atmosphere around animals provides a welcome mood change. Someone suggests creating a three-way magic performance with a moving stage theme once shooting concludes. They express enthusiasm about seeing customers' delighted reactions during performances. Travelers in Paimon are welcomed to Shibaru-Moran AA Land. A plan for the park was previously shared during a meeting with the beauty industry through someone named Navia. The theme park is well known among everyone at Melipine Fortress, with many hoping to visit during vacations.